3FM Sunrise. Johnny's Bite. Johnny's Bite on Sunrise.
So the feature sack, so the genie 10K. I've been coming up this day, they'll say, now me what 10K. Tax in a higher say, or send Yami Maya day, also with the feature, Mammy Fahanishim, Nanya, 10K. My best museum, I say, floating stone, share my say. What in the show, the show, the show, the show, and then we say, TikTok is here now, you bet me if you know me now, and then what you're whooping now, Tina Wukas, I said, you want to vibe. Chairman, I worry, I sent me 40 years. I sent you the brain on tea. Oko Bube make ya no men to watch in our
Sunrise.
Sijo na febi bese. Tugu na febi yese. Kana yedina da bene yemre media. Tugu na febi bese.
Johnny's Bite. Sunrise.
Opposition Baba, no, you're mystical. Hey, man, I stand here, tactical.
Johnny's Bite. Johnny's Bite on Sunrise.
You know, I've watched you sometimes. I agree with you, but I mean, I understand some of your approach. I mean, sometimes we take a hard bite. It helps us as politicians.
Nowadays, when I listen to you, I even panic.
Why?
Maybe, hey,
Why do you panic?
the way you, Papa, you know, Papa.
Figuratively, he bites as hard as he
I've
can.
watched you sometimes.
And of
People
course, when
disagree with you, but I mean, I understand some of your approach. I mean, sometimes we take a hard bite. It helps us as politicians.
Nowadays, when I listen to you, I even panic.
Why?
Maybe, hey,
Why do you panic?
the way you, Papa, you know, Papa.
Figuratively, he bites as hard as he can.
Okay.
And of course, when he puts his fangs into you, you certainly feel it. I think it pretty
Watch Johnny's Bite.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Hasbanallahu wa ni'mal wakil. The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou prepares a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runneth over, and surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Johnny's Bite. It's Tuesday after Easter Monday. I know that some of you are still struggling to get to work. Don't worry, you'll be fine. We have been there before. We will talk about Brian Champong in good time and all the reckless comments that he made and how everybody's sitting pretty. We'll get to talk about it sometime. We will talk about the anniversary of the so-called free water and free electricity, which we are still paying for. We'll talk about that. But yesterday, I'm sure you know that 3FM 92.7 and your Urban Lifestyle Radio, 3FM Drive, Giovanni, Caleb, and AJ Support, and also 3FM Sunrise. We went all the way to the Senior Correctional Center at Roman Ridge. So Giovanni was there, I was there, AJ was there. Later in the day, we had Akofa, we had Della Michelle, we had Crystal Kwame Ai, we had Komla Kluche, we had all of them come to support. Dope Nation was there, and then we have Bogoble, and we had a lot of fun with the boys. These are boys aged between 14 and 21. And the kind of pressure and conditions that the boys are going through, it only takes a miracle for the prison service to be able to handle the boys the way they handle them. I'd like to say quickly a thank you, big thank you to Impact Clinic, East Cantonment Pharmacy, Urban Kitchen, Rev 1 Sounds, who provided all the sound for us. Morrison, thank you very much. And then also to Robert Coman of Wembley Sports. That's on your screen now. This is what the Senior Correctional Center looks like, James Camp. Now, one of the things that hits me so hard is how heartless we are. Look, they make all these slippers and all these artifacts and bags and flower pots and whatever it is. One of the things that hits me so hard is how heartless we are as a country. To say we are feeding adolescents who require a lot of food to survive with 1 cedi 80 pesos. Same 1 cedi 80 pesos across all our prisons in the country. Now, how do you reform anybody anywhere in the world with 60 pesos for breakfast, 60 pesos for lunch, and 60 pesos for dinner? How?
Johnny's Bite.
How do you do that? I'm just wondering and asking myself how we are so wicked as a country and we have not even thought of reviewing this. We feed the children 60 pesos in the morning, 60 pesos in the afternoon, 60 pesos in the evening. How? As if the school feeding and the Kim Pharaoh in Kumasi is not enough to talk about 97 pesos. We are feeding these children 60 pesos in the morning, 60 pesos in the afternoon, 60 pesos in the evening. Then I went to their workshops. They have 15 workshops. 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 15 workshops. Shoemaking here, tailoring here, what do you call it? All of it. Welding, mechanic. Look at the place. The place looks like some rejected location. And all these are colonial buildings, built in the 40s. In the 40s, our priority is not right. We are busy digging National Cathedral hole. In the 40s. So the boys are brought there. They are supposed to be, reformed so that they can be reintegrated into society. So that they can actually have some handiwork to do so they don't get missing and get involved in crime again. And look at their web shop.
Johnny's Bite.
They don't have the requisite machines. They don't have modern machines. They have officers who are skilled and trained, who can actually pass down knowledge to them, and it's bazaar. They have vehicles. The last time prison service got vehicles was in 2010 under President Mills. The last time. Ghana Prison Service, the last time they got it was in 2010. If they lie, I lie. The last time they got it was in 2010. We have been retooling police. We'll retool fire service. The president will go there and say, hello, we'll speak all the big English. What happened to the prison service? Because you see, you retool the military. They will stop all manner of aggression from outside. You retool the police. They will arrest all the miscreants and criminals. And then when you finish prosecuting them in the court, you take them to the prisons where the prison officers will handle them. Now, are you suggesting to me that the prison officers who will handle them, look at the buildings. They are still using jalousines in this day and age. Jalousines, look at the windows, look at them. So somebody dedicates his life to serve his country, and the worst we can do for the individual is that we keep them in such facilities. Yesterday, I didn't want to take videos of where they lived. But if you look at where they live, you will weep for them. Their infirmary is in a sorry sight. Sorry sight. The infirmary. Where the children are ill. Yesterday we took medical partners there, Dashing Opticals and all of that, to go to the place to make sure that they are sorted out. And yesterday when we gave them the jerseys from Robert Coleman, Wembley Sports, they were so excited. Yesterday when they had the food, they were so excited. Yesterday when Dope Nation performed, they were excited. Bogoble, they were excited. Look at the facilities that they have.
Johnny's Bite.
How are you supposed to reform anybody in such a situation? Common paint. Common paint. And they are not a money-making venture. Common paint. We can't find for them. Common paint. Paint. Common paint. We can't find for them. We have money to dig the most expensive hole, pit in the world. We call it National Cathedral. And then you have people you are trying to reform. And you see, you are sitting preaching this morning. The boys in there, if we try to reform them and they are not properly reformed and they are released after 3 years, because the least they serve is 3 months, the highest they serve is 3 years. If they are not properly reformed and they leave the place, they will come for your children. That is what you need to focus on.
Johnny's Bite.
Some of them are reformed. Some of them, you could see the talents. I say since 2010, we have not given prisons buildings. Since 2010, we have not given them vehicles. And we keep them there. 60 pesos breakfast, 60 pesos lunch, 60 pesos dinner. Some of the parents even ignore their children. They don't come to them. The boys are locked up. Yesterday, I was in tears. Giovanni was in tears. AJ was in tears. Yesterday, we were all teary. As for Lois, she couldn't even take it. Ahead of station. She had to move out at some point. And Miriam. Why do we do this to ourselves? This morning, I'm making a strong appeal to the Ghana president and the vice president of the country. Today, I understand he's going to inform the president that he wants to be president of the country. Today, he will go to the presidential villa and tell President Akufo-Addo, I want to be president of the country. He will go and tell him. He is the chairman of the prisons council. Mr. Vice President, while you go to tell the president that you want to be president to break the 8, the prison service is calling.
Johnny's Bite.
They are asking for even a common bus for those students who are taking from the Bostal Institute or the Senior Correctional Center to the various secondary schools. They don't have a bus. They don't have a bus. They have vast land. I've seen the AstroTurf that Wembley is putting up there with Ghana Gas. Beautiful facility. They have a JHS there. But why can't you put an SHS there? They don't have a proper clinic. They will sit with the same ICT exam with the Children of Christ the King, St. Teresa's, Prince of Peace, St. Nicholas, my own school.
Johnny's Bite.
They don't have computers. So they will use witchcraft to pass the exam. Witchcraft and wizardry to pass the exam. And we are watching. And we say, oh, we care for you. We love you. Then after 1 year, we'll go and find them takeaway parts. They call it a laptop. We'll go and find them and go and give to them. Finish. Why are we so wicked in this country like that? Why? Why are we so heartless in this country? Why? Children, 14 to 21. Raw talent. They may have been on the wrong side of the law, peer pressure and all of that. But does that mean that we need to live? Because now, what we are doing in this country is that we have disappointed the past by cutting their bonds and not paying them. We have disappointed the present by not giving them jobs and by taking their bonds and their investment from them. Now we are disappointing the future.
Johnny's Bite.
Hey, President Akufo-Addo, you are disappointing the past. You are disappointing the present. Now you are disappointing even the future. Hey, Bosu, is this what you told us? Submission has become insurgent. Submission has become insurgent. Go to the prison service, boss. You just go and pass there once. Just go and pass there once. And look at their facilities. And ask yourself if what you have been giving to the police
immigration, fire service, the military, if you are even giving a quarter of it to the prison service, ask yourself if they are level, because all the criminals in this country, when we finish prosecuting them, hardened criminal attack, they end up at the prisons. The place is overcrowded. The place is smelling. Toilets no good. Food no good. The place is hot. Skin diseases. What are you doing? Are you hardening the people by keeping them there? Or you are trying to make their lives even worse so that when they come out, there will be no mercy and no emotions? Let's watch it all. Let's watch it. President Akufo-Addo, please go to the prisons today. Make a commitment to go to the prisons. Find them vehicles. Take a look at their clinic. Review the amount of money we use to feed these inmates. Please. Look at their clinic. Look at their schools. It is important. Our own GMB Safwa. Our own GMB Safwa. She went to the prison. There's a Safwa block. Went to give them computers. GMB, Ughanda's most beautiful, from TV3. Went to give them computers. Then among Ghana, living legends, Yenye, and fire home, a digging National Cathedral pit.
Johnny's
Good morning.
Bite.
You know, I've watched you. Sometimes our people disagree with you, but I mean, I understand some of your approach. I mean, sometimes we take a hard bite. It helps us as politicians.
Nowadays, when I listen to you, I even panic.
Why?
Hey,
Why do you panic?
the way you, Papa, you know Papa.
Figuratively, he bites as hard as he can.
Okay.
And of course, when he puts his
Accra
fangs
gets
into
busy
it,
on this frequency. 92.7 3 FM.
Good morning and welcome to the news on business. I'm Judith Chando. Coming up this morning, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta leads government delegation to Washington, D.C. in efforts to secure financial assurances from the country's bilateral creditors at the IMF World Bank spring meetings to enhance Ghana's chances of IMF board approval.
Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta will be trying to use the sidelines of the meeting to secure the much needed financing assurances from the bilateral creditors who are duly represented here.
Also, Professor Godfred Bob King observes the domestic debt exchange program is likely to impair banks to the tune of 41 billion cedis, but noted measures such as the Stability Fund may reduce the effect.
When things settle and we begin to look at our economic strategy and how robust the banking sector must be to be able to support the overall economic strategy, you will see that banks wouldn't have been adequately capitalized.
Plus, cedi appreciates following reduced imports as well as depreciation of the dollar against major trading currencies.
Maybe the cedi is also benefiting from the global effect. And because our currency is volatile, the effect will be more marked here.
To the details now, an IMF, the annual International Monetary Fund and World Bank meetings underway in Washington, D.C., USA. Now, the discussions at the meetings are expected to be dominated by the high global inflation, high cost of living, debt sustainability, and the Russia-Ukraine war. The annual meetings attract global leaders, finance ministers, central bank governors, corporate executives, academia, among others, to discuss issues undermining global economic growth. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is leading a government delegation and will be seeking to secure financing assurances from Ghana's bilateral creditors. Our correspondent Sani Abdul Rahman is in Washington, D.C. and takes up the rest of the story.
Well, the meeting kick-started with a joint session by the World Bank President David Malpass and IMF Chief Kristalina Georgieva trying to rally global support to help address the mounting economic crisis, i.e. high inflation, high borrowing costs, and of course the spillover effect from the war in Ukraine. Now, we know on the part of Ghana, the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, is leading a government delegation, which includes the Central Bank Governor, Dr. Ernest Adesina, and we'll be trying to use the sidelines of the meeting to secure the much-needed financing assurances from the bilateral creditors who are duly represented here to help the country present the bailout request before the board of the International Monetary Fund for consideration. As to whether that will be successful for the next 5 days while we are here, it looks quite unlikely, but I know the finance minister will be pushing and trying to pull strings to make this happen. We know one part of the conversation has been the external debt restructuring, which China has indicated is willing to cooperate, but it's also demanding that the World Bank and the IMF should also be part of the debt restructuring and not the rest of the creditors who may likely be incurring losses as a result of this exercise that Ghana is seeking to undertake.
Now, Professor in Economics at the University of Ghana Business School, UGBS, Godfred Bobking, thinks the domestic debt exchange program is likely to create impairment for banks in Ghana. Professor Bobking observes the DDEP is likely to create an impairment to the tune of 41 billion cedis, representing some 40% impairment, which will affect the solvency of banks. But he was quick to remark the Bank of Ghana Stability Fund and other regulatory measures recently announced which could lessen the impact.
Look at this together with what exchange rates depreciation has done to bank capital since 2018. You realize that the capital base of banks is much smaller now. So what that means is that if a bank doesn't take immediate steps to aggressively grow its capital through capital planning, then you will be forced to recapitalize at some point in time. When things settle and we begin to look at our economic strategy and how robust the banking sector must be to be able to support the overall economic strategy, you will see that banks wouldn't have been adequately capitalized to be able to play that role. And the regulator will come in and ask them to recap. We've done that before. If they had applied the International Financial Reporting Standard 9, FRS 9, in discounting, in accounting for the impairment losses, few banks would have been able to survive. The impact is a little smaller now than what it would have been.
Now, the city has in the last 30 days appreciated by 13.9%. According to the Director of Business Operations at Dalex Finance, Joe Jackson, the appreciation of the local currency can partially be attributed to the weak performance of the dollar against other major trading currencies.
Last 30 days, the dollar has depreciated against the euro, yen, and the pound. Joe Jackson believes the cedi is benefiting from the dollar's weak performance against the global currencies.
The dollar has lost 2.18% of its value versus the euro. The euro has appreciated. If you take the yen, and I'm picking very specific stable currency, if you take the yen, in the last 30 days, the yen has appreciated by over 3%. So you have to now ask yourself that maybe the cedi is also benefiting from the global effect. And because our currency is volatile, the effect will be more marked here.
He further attributed the stability of the cedi to reduced imports.
Fuel import. It's so significant. Central Bank puts money aside for the oil auction. Now, the price of oil has been falling steadily on the international market over the last few months. It means that our importers now require less dollar to buy the oil we need. So that is also an effect that is happening. The constant cry is that there's no money. If I bring it, I can't sell. So importers have dropped what they are importing. When that happens, it means there's more dollars on the market.
Now, a policy analyst, Dr. Steve Mantiao, says Ghana's energy transition target of 2070 is not ambitious enough and fears the country may be left behind. He is of the view Ghana risks losing the opportunities associated with the transition of such as renewable energy technologies.
There is a new race in town, the race to have the upper hand in trying to develop renewable energy technology. And you find that many countries have set very ambitious targets. Some countries are looking at 2030. In fact, even for Tallow Oil, which is a company operating in Ghana, their net zero target is 2030. So if you have the host country setting its target at 2070, I mean, the risk is that if you're not careful, we will lose a lot of the opportunities along the way, and we would not be able to take advantage of them. For now, as I speak, the EU, under their taxonomy program, which discourages investments in fossil fuel but encourages investments in renewable energy technology, is something we can take advantage of it now. But if you are going to move slowly and not position yourself to take advantage of those investments, then by 2070, those opportunities will not be available to the country. We need to hasten slowly but moderately. I caution that a brisk transition also has the risk of disruption of the national economy. So a moderate or pragmatic approach for me would be the way to go.
And that was policy analyst Dr. Steve Mantel there. And in the business news here on 3FM 92.7. My name is Judith Awache Tando. Do stay tuned. Sports is up next.
This frequency, 92.7, 3FM.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to Sunrise Sports on 3FM 92.7. My name is Kelvin Olson, as I bring you the latest in the world of sports. Well, things haven't been easy for Asante Kotoko as a football club in the last couple of weeks. Well, the recent issues in the club don't make any joy for the club supporters. The management and board are in friction, and this is frustrating for some of the club's fans, including former management member Kweku Ahenkra. He shared his thoughts on Sports Ultras last Sunday.
There isn't any management we can call the perfect management. Come with me. There will be issues here and there, and that will prove to you that it's a human endeavor. It's strange. You ask yourself, what is wrong with that? What at all is wrong with that? You know, one of the biggest problems over the years has been the issue of, one man doling out funds for the club and whatnot. Now has tried, has attempted, and has been gradually succeeding in making sure that the club churns its own funds through sponsorship drives and all that. And it's got to claim to have 11,000 registered fans who are paying every month. They are paying money every month. These things have started. What else do you want to see? These are things that are basic that the club should have done years, but we were not able to do. This young man has come. He's been able to start it with the tertiary students, and things are gradually growing. Why are we destroying the very things that have been created to, send the club to the apex of African football where it used to belong and have been proposed of? Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we doing this to ourselves?
All right.
I wonder what we are looking for. And still, it's so sad. As I said, my heart is bleeding when I see these things.
Well, his heart keeps bleeding, Kweku Ahenkra, former management member, but he has, however, called for support for the current management and unity within the team.
But as a former management member who has been there, I've been on both sides of the divide as a journalist and as a management member, and I've seen things. Look, Nana Ponta should be supported by every Tom, Dick, and Harry of Asante Kotoko to succeed at the club. The report of bad blood between him and the board chairman and all that are things I didn't expect to be hearing. I didn't see why the there should be any issue between him and the board chairman. Now it's progressing this way. Why should anybody connected to the board chairman have issues with Namel? But we shouldn't be minoring in the major, majoring in the minor things that will be ignored and just let the man run the club. And the things that seem to have, attracted our attention, the things that should attract our attention, and
So that is Kwekwa Henkra, former management member for Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Now moving on to the qualifiers of the MTN FA Cup. In the semi-finals, Dreams FC have qualified in Sotraman, Ken Faisal, and then Sky FC. Adriana Stars have been booted out, and despite losing in the FA Cup semi-finals to Ken Faisal, Colin Satapuku, who is a rep for Adriana FC, believe that they haven't lost their steam and will do all their best in order to win the Ghana Premier League.
We have a 3-point lead. We are playing very well, even though results had shown otherwise. And we believe that with our healthy away performances this season, we could continue in the next 9 games and then win the league title. It's something we actually want to do, and we are working feverishly towards doing.
So that is from Collins Atapoko. Now moving on to Great Olympics, and the forward Japanese international Jindo Morishita has admitted the side needs to up their performances in the Ghana League in order to avoid relegation. He has also not been too impressed by his contribution and output.
Well, looking at the results, it hasn't been so satisfying, to be honest. As we all know, we're not in the comfortable zone of avoiding the relegation. Looking at the personal aspect, I've played a couple of games, but not enough to prove my quality. But we still have 9 more games, I think, 9 or 10 more games. So I think we'll get there, and I hope that very soon I can show my supporters and my fans with results. Yeah.
So that is Jindo Morishita, but he, however, believes there are a few challenges that he's encountering, and every foreigner just like him would encounter in the Ghana Premier League.
Well, it's not easy. I mean, it's very physically intense, and there's a lot of, I would say, challenges that we need to handle, like especially as foreigners. Challenges come not only on the pitch but from off the pitch as well, like the food, for example. We don't eat banku fufu, right, fried rice, but I need to respect that and try to adapt to the local culture. So all these things, yeah, I'm trying to catch up.
Well, trying to catch up with all those things. Well, now let's move on to Ghana youngster Ernest Dunyama, and the skilled Ghanaian youth demonstrated his exceptional form once again this season by delivering a remarkable performance that helped Northern to defeat Brøndby 2-1. Dunyama had a good opportunity presented to him in the 12th minute following an excellent start to the game. He capitalized on it and fired a shot that penetrated the back of the Brøndby net, giving Northern the lead they deserved. They continued to win 2-1. Something impressive there from Ernest Dunyama, being expected to be the next biggest, and he plays for the Black Meteors and expected to be part of Chris Hughton's plans in the next couple of games. Now to Europe, and FC Barcelona missed the chance to go 15 points clear at the top of the Spanish La Liga as they were frustrated at home by Girona. Robert Lewandowski had a golden opportunity to give them the lead 4 minutes into the game, but he put his effort on the roof of the net. Girona goalkeeper Paulo Gazzaniga, on loan from Fulham, made a number of good saves, including one to deny Rafinha at his near post. Tati Castellanos also shot wide, went through on goal for the visitors' wall. It's not all rosy for Barcelona, and they are calling for the return of Lionel Messi. And yes, they sent them placards and then some messages, some images of Lionel Messi singing his name during the game. We love Messi, we want him back. That is the message from FC Barcelona fans. Well, we just hope Messi is still yet to extend his contract with Paris Saint-Germain. Staying in Spain, Villarreal's Alex Baena says he and his family have received death threats after claims he wished harm on the family of Real Madrid's Federico Valverde. On Sunday, Baena filed a complaint with police after being assaulted following Saturday 3-2 La Liga win in Madrid. Villarreal say the 21-year-old was attacked on his way to the team bus after the game. It has been widely reported that Real Madrid midfielder Fede Valverde was the alleged offender. Well, so unfortunate for the Villarreal man in there. He's struggling currently to keep his family safe from the thugs. Now to the UEFA Champions League, and the real business of the end of the Champions League begins this week with the final 8 going head-to-head in the quarterfinals. Manchester City versus FC Bayern Munich. It's a Guardiola Thomas Tuchel affair again tonight. Well, before that, Benfica will be playing against Internacional in Portugal for the first leg. Pep Guardiola has spoken ahead of the game against his former side, FC Bayern Munich.
Well, I think both are so creative managers. They shape the formations and the shape they play many times. We saw the 3 or 4 games that Thomas Tuchel with Bayern Munich played, and maybe tomorrow is going to do something new. So because they are so creative, both of them. So what we try to figure out, the quality they have in all departments. So it would have been difficult with Nagelsmann. It will be difficult with Tuchel. Let's try, but in the same time, and to pay much attention about them and focus what we have to improve a little bit. Our team to do it well tomorrow.
Well, let's see how things pan out. But Pep Guardiola has also spoken about the influence of Thomas Tuchel, saying he's a very good manager. Tuchel, however, believes that tonight won't be any different from his time at Chelsea.
Sit back to defend as a block and just to try to overcome that again, and then try to have our moments again where we can cause Cities more problems and have more possession, because we have talent and characters in our team to be able to do that.
And I have to earn the confidence of the players every day, every single day, especially when you step into a new dressing room. And so this is the situation right now. So we focus now on our team. We did not have a lot of days to prepare this match. I would have wished for some more weeks, for some more months maybe, to understand our team better, and we don't have it, so no problem. We are excited and hopefully bring out the best in us.
Well, the matches begin at 7 p.m. in England and Portugal. Benfica, Inter Milan, Manchester City, FC Bayern Munich. Now, Dean Smith has been named Leicester City boss until the end of the season. The 52-year-old left Norwich earlier this season after previous spells at Aston Villa and Brentford. Leicester are in huge trouble in the relegation zone following Saturday's home defeat to Bournemouth. 2 points from safety with 8 games left. So Daniel Amati has a new manager to work with at Leicester. Now, Championship leaders Burnley celebrated their return to the Premier League with victory over second-place Sheffield United, who played most of the game with 10 men. The Blaze had goalkeeper Wes Foderingham sent off after 17 minutes in the game. Vincent Kompany, Burnley's coach, very happy after the qualification.
Good. You know, you on the back of promotion to very tough games. We've been looking forward to this part of the calendar, playing against the 2 competitors, Middlesbrough and Sheffield United, and to come away with 6 points, and especially the second half tonight. It was I'm really happy. I think we're all delighted.
Very delighted there. Now let's move on to some athletics. Last weekend gave Ghana athletics loads of promise for the future after impressive sprint in the opening outdoor event. Yafo Sulabi is excited at the current performance of the few sprinters Ghana can boast of.
I think one thing I have to say, though, which is a pat on the back for the Ghana Athletics Association, is that now they are doing things differently. The thing is, I think yesterday I was looking at the top 10 times, the top 10
Ghana.
fastest 100-meter times ever in Ghana. And 3 of those times were for Benjamin Azamati.
Wow.
Yeah. And now 3 young boys who just came through last year are also in the top 10. James Dadzie, who I watched in 2019 running for Agri Memorial, and then Abdul Saminu, and then there's another guy called Isaac Botio from Second D. And all of them are in the top 10. So they are running times that it's incredible. I mean, to be their age, 21, 19, and being in the same bracket as Aziz Zakari, Leo Miles Mills, Eric Nkansa, and Emmanuel Tufor, it just goes to show that if we do the right things, our athletes can rub shoulders with some of the very best.
Well, doing the right things, he details the current progress of these athletes and calls for support for them.
One thing also is that Benjamin Azamati now is 18th in the world when it comes to 100 meters. He is getting a lot of enemies in the 100-meter area because they are now seeing him as a threat more than someone who just comes in to run alongside them. he trains with Noah Lyles and Trayvon. I keep calling him Trayvon Martin, but I forget his name. But Trayvon Bromell. Okay. Yeah, those are the two guys he trains with. Noah Lyles won the 200 meters at the Athletics Championship last year. Trayvon Bromell also won silver in 100 meters because Fred Kelly beat him to the title. Okay. So these are the guys he's training with, and he's just ready to put Ghana back on the map on athletics. Every time you speak to him, that's the main goal. And also now he's getting the understanding that he can actually make money from running. Yeah. He has just signed a new contract with New Balance, which is going to pay him some money. If he gets called up to the Diamond League meets, he also gets some money from there. Yeah. And so all of those monies will go into to support him in many ways. And so I feel like, one, the athletes need to be encouraged. They need to be told that a lot of these things that you are doing is not just because you have a talent and you're fast, but you can earn money from doing it.
So that is from Yao Fosolabi on athletics, and we wrap up sports here on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Well, thanks to the entire team here at Media General, especially 3FM. Yesterday was a very good scene, a very good time at the SCC Senior Correction Center. Yes, when we lost by a goal to nil, but it was good to give charity on Easter Monday. But on Thursday, we managed to beat our friends from Multimedia by 4 goals to 3. On the AstroTurf. Hopefully we get some better results. Johnny Hughes, William Esiedu, Helena Piampofo serve you some more sweet breakfast on Sunrise. DJ Phil has a medley of songs for you.
Start your day with